Good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
And who am I talking with?
My name is Michelle Dunlea. I'm the Vice President of Product here at Clio, and I have been here for just about 6 years now.
And obviously you're pretty busy these days.
You could say that. We've released one or two things this year that may or may not be of interest.
Yeah, at the keynote today,
Yeah.
Jack did a really nice job explaining them and even making it so people like me can understand what came together. The biggest thing for me was, I knew Ed Walters for 20 years.
Ed is awesome.
What's that?
Ed is awesome.
He's a great guy.
Yes, he is. And he had a hand in that keynote too.
Did he?
He did.
I wondered. Because he came in with vLex within the last couple of years, and all of a sudden, we're all reading that vLex, was acquired by Clio, which is an extraordinary event to take place. From a product standpoint, well, you're sitting here running Clio's products. Now you've got Fastcase's products. You got vLex products.
Yeah.
What's happening? How does this all happen inside the company?
You mean like from day one? Like how did we start out
Yeah, how
here?
do you start? Like all of a sudden, okay, now what happens?
Okay, so
You get some advance notice, or
well, we worked on the acquisition.
Yep.
And so as part of that acquisition, we have a deal thesis, which is, if we acquire this company and bring these products together, what do we think we unlock? And so we have a whole bunch of hypotheses around the customer value that we can create, the efficiencies that we can create, the business value that we can create. And so we go into the deal having a pretty clear vision of what we would like to get out of it and what we think that we can get out of it. And from there, the deal, well, it's not fully closed right now, but the sale was approved. And we started to get together with their teams, because what their team has created with the library and then Vincent on top of it is truly incredible. Like, it's an amazing piece of technology. And so we really wanted to make sure that their team was very much part of the process and that we were co-creating this new solution. And they're very smart people, very talented. They understand the space. A lot of them, which is, I think, typical when it comes to technology that's specifically around the practice of law, a lot of them come from the legal industry. They've been lawyers. So they're really enmeshed in the landscape.
Right.
So we flew them to Toronto, actually. Some of their product folks, some of their technology folks, we flew them to Toronto, brought some of our people in, and we sat in a room for, it was about 2.5 days, thinking, we have all these pieces now. How do we bring this together into something that's truly different and truly powerful? And we just had so many great ideas. The creative process is not a straight line. So we would get somewhere that we thought was really exciting and then realize that it wouldn't work for whatever reason. And it was like riding a roller coaster. There was a couple of days we left completely deflated, but by the end we knew that we were onto something when we thought about how can you take the business of law information that we have in Clio, that's pretty unique in terms of its scale and depth, and then marry that with the practice of law tools, the AI that they've created, the library that they've created.
Right.
And we realized that we were onto something when we thought about enriching Vincent's AI with all of the context for the matters. So it's pulling fields, it's pulling documents, it's pulling notes, it's pulling client communications. So when it's suggesting actions to take in Clio Work, which is now called Clio Work, we didn't have a name for it at that point in time, it's truly intelligent. It knows what is the likely next step on this case. What is the next thing that as an attorney you're going to need to do on this case? And so we started down that path, and then it was a question of how do we make this technically possible? And what will customers expect from this? What will they need from this? And how accurate can we get this? And so that really started us down a path that we've been following basically ever since then.
When the company goes and considers to acquire another company, there has to be some, on a house, it's due diligence or an inspection. We got to inspect this thing to make sure it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody comes in with an idea up here and says, okay, maybe there's something there that could come together. Doesn't there have to be some work done by the product teams to take a look? Is there some level of harmony here that it makes it worth our while
100%.
Long before there's an actual acquisition?
Yeah, I glossed over some of the messy middle pieces there. But there's the deal thesis, and then there's a whole slew of due diligence that needs to happen from, every function within the company. But there is very much an engineering. We have to understand their engineering, we have to understand the product, we have to understand the infrastructure that it's built on, we have to understand their security. And obviously, because this one ended in a pretty nice place, they had a really incredible product that meshed really nicely with ours. So yeah, it was quite a process, although it happened very quickly. We've done acquisitions at Clio before,
Right.
Successful ones and ones that we didn't follow through on. But this one just came together easily compared to many others. So there was something there that was meant to be, I think. And then that really started to magnify itself when we got the teams together. It was just like we had worked together forever.
Maybe it was the culture. Because you mentioned the culture a little bit. The people work together well.
We did. Like day one, we started. What was interesting is that between the two teams, there was no ego. So, it can be hard to be acquired by another company and people start to come in and have ideas around what you've built and the thing that you've grown from the ground up. But there was no ego. We were very much centered on what does the industry need? What do our customers need? What was also interesting is that vLex and Vincent's customer base have been primarily enterprise. They'd started to move into the small and mid-market space more recently, but they really had a foothold. Their foothold was in enterprise. And with Clio, obviously, we were the opposite. So it was quite interesting when we talked about use cases and the needs of our customers, how many of them overlapped, but also how many of them diverged. And we started to get new insight into that big law space as well that we didn't necessarily focus too much on before.
You've been at Clio how long now?
I had my 6-year anniversary last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you also had a baby during this time,
I also
too.
had a baby, yeah. It's been a busy few years.
How did you fit that in?
You know what? Honestly, I still don't know.
You've been involved in products for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before you got to Clio.
Yeah.
What attracted you to come to Clio? I'm sure you've had other opportunities. Like, why Clio?
Okay, so I think this is a good story. So, sorry.
You're all right.
I had known Jack because I was in Vancouver at the time. Jack was in Vancouver. The tech space there is this pretty tight-knit community. And I knew him, and he had mentioned a few times, Clio, you should maybe come to Clio. I was working in social media marketing technology at the time, another B2B SaaS company. And I thought, legal tech, that sounds really dry and boring. I'm not interested. And, we talked over the years, and when I started to actually dig into it and understand the problems that lawyers were facing and the human problem behind it, that's the thing that really got me fired up. So, what I really liked about it was that these are people that went to law school to practice law, often ended up being business owners. Oftentimes they didn't even recognize themselves as being business owners, but had this administrative burden that they needed to deal with as part of their work. And the idea of being able to take that away from them and allow them to concentrate on the thing that they wanted to practice, the thing that they went to school for, that human problem is super interesting to me. And then when I realized, the number of small firms and, how they operate and just the heart of so many of them, it moved me. And that was one aspect of it. There was a very clear mission at Clio, and there still is a very clear mission at Clio. It's evolved a little bit over the years, but it's one that I really believe in. I think if we're going to work a lot of hours and come in every single day, you might as well use your energy towards doing something that is net positive. And I really do think that the impact that we're having, or at least the impact that we're trying to have, is net positive. That's what turned the tide for me when it came to legal tech.
And that's what keeps you going now.
That's absolutely what keeps me going now. I have never once been bored. I have never once not felt supremely challenged. And the customer, coming to an event like this, I can't even tell you, it gives us energy. The product team and the engineering team gives us energy for the whole year. We soak it all up, the feedback, the things that our customers want, the things that they're loving, and it just powers the next year of innovation.
And you got a good team. Like if I want to go up and say, can you show me this?
Yeah.
not only can they show me that, but they're incredibly enthusiastic about doing so. So what you're describing is great.
Yeah.
What does your team learn from the customers here that they're meeting? I mean, probably things you couldn't have guessed, but
It's infinite. Yeah, like there are so many ways that people practice, so many different motivations, so many different workflows. You could talk to 100 customers and every single conversation with them would be different. There are root problems that kind of sit, or needs that sit underneath all of those diverse people. But every time we talk to a new customer, there's some new learning. You know, whether it's how they're using something or how they want to use something, or a pain point that they've come up with that they just, you know, they want to be able to reconcile. It's unique. And we talk to customers a lot. Obviously, it's not just ClioCon. We're on the phone to them a lot. We go visit them in their offices, which is always interesting because you notice things that they don't even think to tell you when you're watching how they work.
right.
So that's always really interesting. And then we've always done it, but definitely with increased frequency recently, is having pilots for all of these new product releases. So we'll have a group of customers that come in the early stages of development, and we'll co-create the products with them or the features with them, and then let them use it for a time and iterate on it from a product and engineering perspective before we release it to the broader base of customers. And we learn so much during that process.
What's the craziest thing that you go, man, this is crazy, or this is the funnest thing I could remember working at Clio over all this time? Is there anything that you just go, oh my God?
That's such a hard question. Honestly, ClioCons are always a highlight.
Are they?
Yes.
Let me ask you another question. Like when you were doing after the acquisition, and you got to go through, okay, is this all going to fit together, and how we're going to get it done? Up here, there has to be somebody like Jack just sitting here thinking, well, of course this is going to work.
He's like, I just paid $1 billion for this company. It's going to work.
Or he's so excited. I'm sure Jack gets excited, but he's excited, but he's also very smart.
Yeah.
Analytic. It's not fluff.
And he's an amazing product thinker too.
Is he?
He is. Yeah, he's brilliant.
So is he in there when you guys are working on bringing this forward? I'm just curious.
He was aware of the process the whole time. He definitely dropped in for sure.
Right.
And he always knew what was happening. He, like I said, he's a product thinker. He is a product person at heart. He's also a very good business person, but he understands products, he understands customers, and he understands technology. And so we lean on him as a product team. Like, we know that he's quite visionary. And so we try to harness that as much as possible and use it to our advantage. And we did it during this process too. So he was fully aware of the direction we were going in, why we were making certain decisions. He could kind of course correct or steer if he needed to. But he was very much part of the process.
Since he started the company, within a year or two after that, I mean, Jack was a leader, a figurehead. People like to see him. He was very approachable at obviously this conference or any conference he was at.
9,000.
I mean, he's kind of a force of nature.
He is.
Does he do employees feel that when you're working there? Is it like, wow, we're working with Jack? We work, I don't know, because I don't think he would want to say anybody, you're working for me.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a force of nature just by who he is.
He is. And I think what you mentioned, that he's approachable too, so that's a very interesting combination. Because I think it's true, he is a force of nature, and you feel that. Right. He's relentless. He is absolutely relentless, and he's visionary, and that's inspiring and amazing to be around, but he's also super approachable. So it's a very interesting, I guess, dichotomy in some ways.
Right.
But he's an interesting presence in any room, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I should remember her name. I don't, but I think she does team coaching and personal coaching.
Oh, Katie.
Yeah, Katie. Yeah, did it. Met her on online, and then we did a podcast with her.
She's fabulous.
Yeah, she was. I asked her. I said, "How many coaching sessions have you done? How many people have you touched?" 1,200 people. I'm going 1,200 people.
Oh, probably innumerable coachings. I've been to her a few times. Yes.
Yeah, and I said, there must be times where you just walk out the hallway. I said, with Jack around when he's not traveling, you're giving him a fist bump. She goes, absolutely. So to us, there's that type of feel in the building with everybody there.
There's a great energy in our. Have you been to our office?
Not in Toronto.
Okay.
Are you in Toronto?
I'm in Toronto now since January. Before that, I was in Vancouver. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jack travels. It's like 47 weeks a year, so he's only.
You should stop by though. We have a beautiful new office in Toronto. It's gorgeous. We're actually our official opening of our brand new Dublin office is next month. That might be a good return trip to Ireland.
I should. I think for our team, there's so much energy to be gained from Clio.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. One of the things you sometimes feel when you come, I mean, my company may have been almost the size of Clio when Clio started. Sometimes you almost feel like a failure, but then you realize, well, my values weren't to do this thing. I have a small publishing company where individual lawyers are publishing. It doesn't need to be anything like this.
Yeah, I think
it's
personally
almost
think
intimidating though. When you come and you just see that it's overwhelmed, oh my God.
At ClioCon?
Yeah, because you think of what it's going into, and you have bankers and all this type of stuff that go on. So it's very impressive to see what's built, and you guys should be extremely proud of it.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a wild ride, I've been on it for 6 years. I can't imagine what the preceding 11 years were like. But it's really fun, and it's getting, I'm sure you've probably noticed too, like the velocity is increasing, like the rate of change is getting faster and faster. So
from the first ClioCon, I mean, the way that the presentation is done to kick it off in the morning, how well it's done, and the information that you guys share, and how well the information is organized for everybody. Yeah. It's great.
The team does incredible.
So I very much appreciate your efforts. And you're from Ireland.
Yes, that's always a bonus.
So that makes it even better. How many people from Ireland work at Clio?
I think I think it's probably about 45 or 50.
That's pretty good.
Probably need to double check that, but we have grown that office over the last couple of years. There's people in that office that aren't necessarily Irish, but yeah, and there's a few Irish people scattered across North America too.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great to talk with you.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.